Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. Yet again, we are at Super Bowl 53 here at the Georgia World Congress Center. And yet again, our head coach on behalf of the Living Classrooms Foundation, Brian Billick, sitting where you belong, right underneath Tom Brady. Perfect, right?
Didn't we just do this? It seems like we just did this yesterday, you know, and I keep saying we ought to rename this the New England Patriot Invitational. Because it's amazing. I don't think people can appreciate just how spectacular and just how special. We will never see the likes of this again. The New England Patriots and the run that they've had.
And where does it end? I mean, we're still in it. We're not in the middle of it. I'll go that far, but I don't know if we're at the end. I don't know.
Although I tell you what, and I'm just from the outside watching Brady and Belichick yesterday in the media day. They were very relaxed. It wasn't
they're going to win, right?
Well, whether they think that or not, but they, whether it's okay, what the last couple of times we've done this when they're here, it's, well, what does it mean to legacy if they win the game and this, that, and the other? Well, we're so far past that. They'd just give them the gold jackets right now. Why wait for them to retire and fight? Just give them the gold jackets right now. They struck me as being, which is a good thing, very relaxed in this situation.
The Chargers game changes everyone's perspective about them a little bit, right? That was the exclamation point. I don't know what they're going to do here, but they're probably not going to be up 35-7 at halftime and sort of laughing their way. It was all gloom and doom and Brady and Belichick and they're going to break up the band and McDaniel, and all of that went on, and it was quiet first week, and then they just destroyed the Chargers, and now... And
then to go on the road, which had been not an Achilles heel, they didn't have to play on the road in the playoffs very much. And when they did, the record wasn't as good, naturally. So it was, but to go in and beat Kansas City, in Kansas City, to me, that put the exclamation point of you all, and what's Brady yelling at the thing, we're not done, or whatever it is that he's yelling, the rumors of our death are premature, and the reports of our death, and they now at some point it will end. Now I'm not going to be the one to say, oh yeah, this is the last of it, but clearly, as you said, we're closer to it than we were.
I don't know if I've ever asked you this all these years sitting here, because I've never wanted to praise Bill Belichick, mainly because you get confused with him. They call you Belichick in the airport sometimes, but. What makes him special to you at this point, if you're measuring it all, knowing where you were 20 years ago coming in, right?
It's always easier to make the second million than the first, right?
Right.
And that's not taking anything away from it. But how about that picture? As you continue on.
I don't know what that is, but I'm entertaining our audience with it.
That's great. That was at an oyster roast on the shore Saturday.
This week?
This last Saturday.
3 days ago.
Yeah.
Huh. And he's wearing a Patriot.
Yeah.
That's not an impersonator.
That's not Bill Belichick.
No, that's an impersonator.
Not an impersonator. A friend of mine named Tiger, who I've known Bill Belichick for 35 years. He looks more like Bill Belichick. If I put Tiger in front of Bill's wife, she would think that's Bill Belichick. Isn't that great? To answer your question, Bill... Taking nothing away from it, obviously the combination of Belichick and Brady, and I'm always uncomfortable saying, well, if they weren't together, would it make, because it would be disrespectful to both. Mm-hmm. They'd still win, make no mistake. But the fact that they're together, the fact that they have the institutional knowledge now that just keeps growing. Imagine this, we're in the game, and Wade Phillips comes up with something different for the game. And it's timeout. And Brady walks over to Bill and goes, yeah, remember 12 years ago?
In the Carolina game?
I remember 15 years ago when the Ravens did so-and-so. Yeah, let's do that. I mean, that to go to that source, that resource, that institutional knowledge, and their ability for Bill to piece it together in the way that he wants, unquestioned. And everybody's on the same page. There's no question about that. That's a huge advantage.
Head Coach Brian Billick here on behalf of the Living Classrooms Foundation. Of course, livingclassrooms.org. James Bond sent me an event. They're having something there at Ampersea, I think March something. I just saw it today, but it's Mardi Gras. It's a Mardi Gras event.
Yeah.
They're doing a Mardi Gras event at Living Classrooms, so go check that out. Luke is, of course, here. Coach is here on behalf of SeatGeek, and this is perfect for me, and I'm going to tell you why it's perfect for me, because you're going to promote Super Bowl tickets, but my wife wants to go see Bruno Mars on Saturday night. So that's what I've...
Go to SeatGeek.
That's my challenge for Saturday here. My wife's coming in. We really don't care so much about this. I know you grew up out in the Redlands, being a Rams guy and all that. But Bruno Mars is what we want to do.
Go to SeatGeek. They'll tell you'll see, and you got the big bucks, so you can. The thing I like about it, you get the SeatGeek app. You can see what the good deals are, what aren't such a good deal. Every transaction guaranteed, and this the fun thing. Even if you're not going to buy tickets, get the SeatGeek app and watch the trending of the tickets. Here tickets for the Super Bowl.
Well, and
I saw this. Buy, early, late.
Well, this changed everything. This was not the matchup that SeatGeek, the people on SeatGeek wanted, right? I mean, literally, this would have been a crazy ticket had it been Kansas City.
Sure.
So it becomes a little more affordable, I think,
Although
at this
the big ticket right now, it's trending with New England. It's a higher ticket price. You want to get the best value? If you're a New England fan, go buy a ticket on the Rams side. It's cheaper seat, right? And seriously, and you can find that on SeatGeek because it tells you what the trending is, what the prices are, and every transaction is guaranteed. So,
SeatGeek.com. Get the app. Make sure you download that. Check that out. Head Coach Brian Billick here on behalf of Living Classrooms and SeatGeek, of course. And we're talking about the game and where we are at this point for the league and issues for the league that maybe the wrong teams here, and Sean Payton. And I know everyone bristles at that, but if you're Sean Payton right now, you'd say, well, we could have run the ball more and the golf face. There's a million ways. But I can't help but talk about here we are again talking about the officiating.
It's unfortunate. But if that call is made properly and the Saints try to kick a field goal and it misses, what would the Saints be saying? Well, no one play loses the game. We're going to support their kicker, right? And no one play lose. Now, it was a horrendous call. But I loved what Sean McVay said. This is an imperfect game. And I hope, and as bad as that is, and I feel for the New Orleans Saints fans and for Sean McVay or Sean Payton, but I hope we don't go down the path of we're going to now institute replay for judgment calls. We go down that path, we will rue the day we did
Every time I've brought it up with you, with Marvin, with the people I know, Mike Smith's going to be coming by, I've been laughed at. You're the professional, I'm the idiot fan screaming on the radio for 3 decades. I think because pass interference, because it could be a 60-yard penalty, because it's so impactful to the game, it should be reviewable, and you laugh at me.
But you can call pass interference on every single play. Somewhere on that field, I guarantee you, someone got away with a little bit of, and then if we're going to do that, why aren't we going to do offensive holding or defensive holding, which you could call on every single play?
But, okay, so play God here, which you've been known to do from time to time, Coach. They put you in charge. You go to New York. You're going to run the officiating.
What I would do?
Yeah, go ahead.
What I would
top
do,
to bottom.
And I've said this since instant replay came in, and we have the technology. You don't want to get into where you're going to judge those subjective calls via it would be a 7-hour game. What I would do is say, okay, challenges are gone. We have the technology. Referee has it in his head. You got New York looking at it. How many times have we seen the ball hit the ground or not hit the ground? And the booth, I'm talking about the network booth, within 2 seconds say, the ball hit the ground. Right. And we take 10 minutes.
Oh, it's incredible.
For him to go to the sideline, look at the thing, because New York's telling him what to do. You have someone there, just like the TV booth can go, the ball hit the ground. No, the ball hit the ground.
Well, you've been the guy in the booth.
Smooth that out.
Buzz down and make the call. And
make the call, and if it's definitive, make it. If not, leave it alone. Let the game flow. The officials will have that extra view. I mean, if a guy's catching a ball on a sideline, and the referee's back here, and there's a question, did he have control or not? What does he do? He goes to the back judge and the line judge, whoever saw the view, what did you see? What did you see? Well, I saw the feed. Yeah, okay, okay, I saw the catch he had. Okay, I saw the feed. Yeah, okay, I got all I need. I got one. Now I've got someone up above. You know how much I love tennis. We just got done with the Aussie Open, and we just saw a line call in the championship game where Osaka challenged it, and, I mean, it took a microscope But it was instantaneous, and we could see
But
it.
this is what I'm asking. You know, I've talked to, like, Sam Cook about chipping the ball, right? Wouldn't that be a better way to adjudicate 10 yards?
Sure.
Are we going to move the technology forward? Or are we going to not? And look, baseball's trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
Eric DeCosta's trying to figure out analytics. Are we going to make this thing scientific?
Sure.
Or are we going to continue to play these games?
We can get there. But at the end of the day, no matter what we do to make the game more fluid, to make it more accurate, inbounds, out of bounds, you are never going to correct that call unless you decide to have an entire crew of officials also watching the game to now throw the flag mechanically, because clearly that was a penalty.
I know you got to run. It's always great to visit with you.
Right.
No chance your hometown Rams are.
I'm rooting for the Rams, but I'm betting on the Patriots. How do you bet against the Patriots? Hey, on that SeatGeek, you put in the promo code SB300, you get $300 back.
SB300 for any of my Patriot or Rams fans or late buyers, because the ticket price is a little depressed.
Patriot fans, go to SeatGeek, buy a ticket on the Rams side, get the $300 back. You get a better ticket, and then you can move around once the game.
Come down to Atlanta, hang out with me and the coach. We're down here live, Super Bowl 53. We're that far up. Head coach Brian Billick here on behalf of SeatGeek. SB300 for a $300 deal off. Take that with you. Good seeing you, Coach. There he goes. Out the door. All of it in the buy at Toyota.com. Audio of all 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear. The morning newspaper ships to your email inbox each and every morning. All brought to you by Planet Fitness at PlanetFitness.com, where it's always $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life. Even though it's cold outside, we were talking about how cold it was in Minnesota before he sat down here. He's got a cabin up in Minnesota. It's at 30 below. It's crazy. But they're decent down here in Atlanta right now. And, I think the more we talk about the game, who's going to sit here and say the Rams are going to win? Who's going to be the first person to do that?
I think there absolutely are scenarios for them to win. I want to go back to something Coach said a moment ago about replay, because you and I have talked about this a lot. I've made the point that it's at some point in time in this whole discussion of expanding replay or what we're going to review, that we have to recognize we're not going to get games called perfectly. It's just not going to happen, short of making it a 7.5-hour affair. But I want to go piggyback on something that Coach Billick said in terms of having that eye in the sky, having someone up in the booth who has autonomy over it, where they basically say, we've seen the replay, just like Network can show us within a few seconds.
Flip it.
The call is wrong. Buzz down. He doesn't – I don't want to speak for him too much about it, because I know he's tried to be political about it while still giving his opinion. I think it's absurd asking head coaches to officiate the game. I really do. I mean, as much as coaches, the pressure that they have on them to win, to manage the clock. We talk so much about time management, clock management, and coaches around the league not being able to do that effectively. I would just like to see the challenge system eradicated, eliminated, and everything is done.
Well, it's a big game
overhead.
in the stadiums now with the videographers and every guy like Larry Rosen as to what replay we show. And, as a fan, it's a real ripoff to be in the stands and to not be able to see the replay when you're there, because you're trying to deke the other head coach, trying to screw the other team by getting up to the line of scrimmage and snapping the ball. Talk about a team that made that an art form. These guys here, the Patriots made that an art form. Like, when we're going to screw the other team out of 30 yards, we're going to run up and snap the ball before they can get the flag out. They've turned it into a little bit of a circus. I mean, that's not within the spirit of the game, right? But literally, it's been something that's been forced into the game because of the replay. This has been the reaction to that, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, again, I'll come back to what I said a few minutes ago. We're never going to get this thing perfect. Replay was not instituted to make games called perfectly. What was replay introduced for? To correct the most egregious mistakes, like the one. I understand that, but I also hear what Brian said about judgment calls, and I think it's a very, very slippery slope. I really do, because we all might accept that as being over-the-top obvious. Look, I haven't heard a single person say that was the wrong call. The defensive back was fine for a helmet-to-helmet hit. So it's clear the league's position on it, but we go down that rabbit hole and we continue on. What's obvious to one person suddenly isn't so obvious to the next person, and then what are we doing? And then before you know it, we do have a 4.5-hour game, 4-hour
Well,
game.
it already sucks. The system they have is not a good one. So,
Yeah.
so whatever they're doing, they're not tweaking a system that's very good.
Yeah.
Right? So the chances are they can only make it better, not worse.
You would think, but I'm not going to hold this league to that high of a standard based on how
You're
they've
making a fine
botched
point. You're making a fine point.
many of issues.
This is
over
my
the years.
26th Super Bowl.
So,
I have seen this before, yes.
So I just, at some point in time, we have to recognize that as much as we all want to see competitive fairness and the integrity of the game upheld, it is also entertainment at the end of the day. We're not curing cancer here or saving lives here. It's football.
Tell that to Sean Payton and Drew Brees.
I understand. Hey, I understand. They're going to be mad for as long as they want to be mad, and that's fine. But at the same time, you're not going to make every call perfect, nor should we. Frankly, if you want that and you want an 8-hour game, then your vision of the NFL is different than what I see it as being. But I'd love to see them consider making it all an upstairs kind of thing, the eye in the sky, God in the sky, whatever nickname you want to get. Bad, it's wrong, buzz down, correct it. Very, very much what we see in the college game. I think college coaches do get a challenge, but if a call's wrong or a call needs to be looked at, they stop the game and they do it. Now, I don't think it's perfect because those games tend to be very long at the college level, but I'd like to see that more than this challenge system because we go back to having 2 challenges, and I've said this for the longest time. Well, what happens if there's 3 calls like that over the course of the game and you challenge a couple and –
Well, that's the limit on the challenges and when you get it wrong, and especially when you get it wrong and there's still – the thing that pisses me off is when they stop everything, do everything,
and then they
still come back with
right.
the wrong call.
Yeah,
I mean,
so it's not going to be perfect.
But this is the time where they need to look at the system. And so whatever we're talking about, we're talking about something that makes it better than the outcome we have right now. That's what I'm asking.
And even if it's not going to remedy that specific play, because I do think judgment calls, I'm very leery of going down that road because I think it can be very problematic.
20 minutes ago, they all laugh at me when I bring it up. They do.
But there has to be a better way, and I'd like to see the challenge system. I don't think it should be John Harbaugh's job to officiate the game.
Fair enough.
He has enough. He has enough problems on his hand trying to win the game to let alone have to make a call of, should I really challenge this or not? And what about this timeout? No.
Pulling red flags out of his sock.
Because if you come down to it, let's think about this for a second. That same exact call, let's say you can challenge that type of play.
Fair enough.
Let's say Sean Payton's out of challenges and it's outside 2 minutes. That call's still going to be made, and it's still going to be egregiously wrong. And guess what? There's still no mechanism to fix it.
If the mechanism is you get X amount of challenges, it's never made sense to me to say this is how many times they're going to be wrong. Right. And at the end of the game, when you need it the most, it might not be there. Let's just call the freaking game right. You know what I mean? Let's get to the source of this. And let's do a better job, whatever we need to do, full-time. I've heard that argument forever.
Has officiating really gotten worse, or is it just that our technology is so much better?
Right,
and that's part of where I do empathize.
So then the officiating needs to get better.
Where I do empathize, though, is I think some of this now, we can debate 50-plus, 60-year-old officials out there who maybe aren't in the greatest of shape and they're not getting in position. That's a different issue, but there's so much speed, so much bulk, so much going on. You have 22 of the greatest athletes in the world out on the field on any given play. I think the human eye is not capable of officiating each official looks at a certain thing. And they have, it's not just one player they're looking at.
Yeah, there's 22 guys and seven guys.
The naked eye,
sure, yeah.
I think from a physics standpoint, I don't think the naked eye can.
That would be an interesting study. That's a sports science study.
And we've talked about that. That's been talked about a lot in baseball with umpires. A home plate umpire.
How can they see a strike?
Trying to see a 100-mile-per-hour fastball, whether it crossed the plate, the movement on it, where the catcher's glove is, a check swing. Probably all the things going on there.
At that point, your job is so.
It's guesswork.
If it were a specified scientific thing, it would be like an astronaut where you would be tested for it in the way that certain hitters vision was so good,
Yeah.
they could see the seams on the baseball. And the minute their vision went a little crazy, their batting average loses 50 points because that's how important vision is to the hitter and the pitcher,
right,
let alone an umpire who's 50 years old, has vision like mine right now, which my vision right now, if I were an umpire, I'd be very worried about losing my job because my vision's not as good as it was 20 years ago.
But my point is, even if you have 20/20 vision, or maybe you have 20/10, maybe you're blessed to have a eagle-type eyesight, I still think in all of the sports, quite frankly, but in football where you have so much going on at one time. Basketball, you follow the ball, right? I mean,
I would agree with you that there's a hell of an argument made to say it's not within the human capacity.
I still think that is part of the issue here, and that's not to absolve NFL officials. Yes, they can get better. Yes, there are some that are less competent than others, just like any other career field, but I still think some of these issues there is just so much speed in the game with that many players on the field, and you're looking for that many infractions. And part of this we haven't even talked about, the rule book is too damn big. I mean, seriously.
Fair enough.
And I've heard some of the great
we had the British guy
minds,
here earlier. I'm like, how do you learn football if you're not from our
some of the best football minds of today, I've seen them opine on this and say that there are so many rules, and that's another factor, that these officials who are looking for all this stuff physically with their eyes, and I better remember this weird infraction that maybe comes up twice a year. I better be looking for that too. I mean, there's just so much going on that I think it's beyond the human mind, beyond the human eye to really be able to do this at a high enough level that many people are calling for.
That you get it right every time.
Yeah, they can get better. You could certainly, believe me, I'm not saying officiating can't be improved.
It's got to be better than the Saints call, and I guess that's the reason we're sitting here talking about
it.
And that's
fair. And I'm not going to argue that, but again, I am leery of going down that rabbit hole with starting to review judgment calls because I don't like the challenge system, but if we're going to start reviewing judgment calls and it comes from above, then I feel like we could be creating bigger problems than what we're talking about right now, which is incredibly unfortunate. But again, at the end of the day, it's entertainment. And I'll also say this, and maybe this is the pro wrestling fan in me, these types of controversies, we always say it's so bad for the league. Is it really, though? Does anyone stop watching? I still recall talking to someone on Twitter an hour after. I
still want them to get it right, dude.
An hour after the conference.
Wrestling. Well, if wrestling's your bar, then your bar's too low.
But no one's trying to blow the calls on purpose, is my point.
But there's no system to fix it. Dead silence. Buy a Toyota.com audio vault. There's no system to fix what happened with the Saints game. Because you don't want to review that kind of play.
Do you want to fix that
call? We're
going
to review with these plays we want to get right. These plays, it's completely fine if we completely screw it up and there's no system to fix it.
But if we fix that
even though it changes the
are
season.
We creating 10 more, 100 more problems in the process?
I hear all of that, but just get the call right. Just get the call right.
I think it's a far more slippery slope than you're making it out to be.
Clearly it is. We're still here in 2019, and it's not, fixed.
Because you can start with the obvious call, and what do you have? 1998, when this all started, then you get to what is a catch and surviving the ground. And it used to be that replay was created for that ball that bounces, that someone traps, and it's obvious. And then we're talking about
whether 2 feet
the ball moved half an inch in his right hand. But
these continuation
this is what
rules.
happens, though, when you expand replay, and that's where I understand. Believe me, I didn't like that call any more than anyone else. But
meanwhile, Belichick and Brady are in a room somewhere right now trying to figure out how to skirt the rules to beat somebody, right? How to have some swinging gate play that nobody understands. Mike Smith's coming. Look out, man. I got to get prepared. Get me some caffeine. My goodness gracious. The BuyAToyota.com audio vault there 24 hours a day. From anywhere in the world, Luke and I will be arguing from here to Atlanta and back again on all of this stuff. We're going to have a heck of a week here. It's all brought to you by our friends at LifeBridge Health Sports Medicine Institute out on Foundry Row in Owings Mills. They are the new game plan for all your sports-related medical needs and health-related needs, whether you're trying to run a marathon or whether your elbow hurts, you're just trying to get fixed up, they are there for you. Also, our friends at Strategic Factory and strategicfactory.com. They make hats like this, shirts like this, cups like this, and a strategy that goes behind the branding you're trying to do with your company to Get the word out. Make your company better. Strategic Factory, they're in it. Also, Royal Farms, real fresh, real fast. I got to get my coffee cup off the ground. There we go. Royal Farms coffee, the John Eisenberg cup here. The Kona blend in your cup. My wife's coming down. I hope she brings me some I haven't had Western fries since 2018, and we're almost into February. So, promise you when I get home, I might go to the one right down on Nursery Road, right by the airport when I land for lunch on Monday when the Patriots are having another parade. Bastards. Nasty at WNST.net reaches me. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram. Streaming live on our Facebook Live as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. We're at the Georgia World Congress Center. I'll get that right by the end of the week. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.